Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Ron Hoppe. I'm the founder of Worldwide Health Staff Solutions, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us for our webinar presentation today titled Shaping the Future of Nursing, Leadership Insights from Decades of Experience. We look forward to spending the next 30 to 60 minutes with you and to share some updates and some insights on current events and current happenings related to immigration to the United States. But then we also want to take perhaps a bigger picture view and share some experience that's been gained over many, many years and how that might apply to the circumstances that you find yourself in and that we find ourselves in at the present time. If we can go to the next slide, please. In our presentation today, I'm extremely pleased to be joined by Patti Artley. I will introduce Patti more fully as we get into our presentation. But I'm delighted to be able to partner with Patti on this webinar and just partner with Patti generally as we continue to offer great opportunities to international nurses around the world. Next slide, please. So I thought a good place to start for our presentation today is just to level set where we are at today. Where are we today? And there's certainly no question that many applicants around the world that are thinking about starting an immigration application to the U.S., or perhaps you're in the midst of an immigration application, or you're right close to the finish line, and there, with all the changes that are going on, there's a higher degree of uncertainty about U.S. immigration. We recognize that, we acknowledge that, and certainly we'll be happy to comment further on how this specifically may impact you. We're also seeing in the last 6 to 8 months that visa processing dates have become somewhat further extended. I think the term retrogression will be familiar to most of our guests today. The visa bulletin currently has us at about 30 or 31 months processing time, and we'll also comment further on how to I think properly assess that processing time and what it means for you, regardless of what stage in the process you may be at. And then to sort of balance these two realities of today, the reality remains there is a nursing shortage in the U.S. That nursing shortage is systemic, it's not situational, and it's not going away. So we have what appear to be really some competing factors or competing influences that our candidates and applicants are facing today. And our goal is to help provide some clarity, perhaps some guidance as to how you can assess each of these in your own personal context. Next slide, please. Patti, over to you.
Thank you. Well, Ron, I've been in healthcare for more than 35 years. So when I think about change and how nursing has evolved, I've seen a lot of change. And so some of those that we think about, the roles of nursing have really, truly evolved. The opportunities that nursing has, rather than at the bedside or continuing to be at the bedside, have truly blossomed. Whether we're talking about an industry or virtual health, we have a lot of our industry partners who have really recognized the value of nursing and have expanded the opportunities for individual nursing. And then in addition to that, we know that our schools have responded. When we think about what's happened since 2020 and how they've responded to the demands, they've increased the numbers. And up until last year, we saw a steady increase in the number of individuals who were passing NCLEX. But last year we saw a little bit of a dip, and I think that's something that we're going to have to continue to observe and continue to watch. But we know that no matter how many graduates we have in the United States, we're not predicted, nor are we thinking that we will project that we will meet the demands of what's happening. When we think about technology, from when I was at a bedside to what's happening today, technology has just expanded. Whether we're talking about the electronic medical record or the ability to help nurses detect and monitor patients, it has expanded, but that doesn't take the place of nursing. It truly complements the way we do provide our care. And when we think about all of these things, that workforce shortage continues to be there. But the one thing that we do know that is stable is that we know international nursing is at the heart of truly being part of the long term, and for some, those shorter term critical parts of their workforce solution. Ron?
Thanks. Next slide, please. This is a slide that we put up and speak to, I think, in just about every presentation we do, whether it's applicant-facing or client-facing, because this is really represents or addresses the question that's forefront for many of our applicants as well as for our U.S. clients, and that is, what are the visa processing times? And we put this graph up for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I think it's always important to have a proper perspective on any issue or any topic that we're considering. If we just were to have the February 2026 bar up by itself, showing that we're at 31 months, we really have no context to say, well, that's good, that's bad, or it's something else. So this chart takes us back to the beginning of 2018, and you can see there's two horizontal green lines across this graph. The lower one indicates 12 months of processing time, and the upper horizontal yellow line represents 24 months of processing time. So as we look at this graph from left to right, I think one comment to make is that historically, we can see that for the most part, processing times have been in that 12 to 24 month range. You'll see that from the latter part of October 2020 into the first half of 2023, you'll see this flat spot in the graph. This is reflective of what was happening in immigration during the COVID times. And because of the dramatic decrease in the number of family-based green card petitions and those visas in the family-based category being made available to applicants in the employment-based category, during that time, we were finding that processing times were right around that 12-month period, sometimes even a little less, sometimes just a little bit more. But we had that period of time where we were at the low end at that 12-month for processing times. As visa processing overall sort of rebounded to typical levels or even rebounded from the COVID years a little bit, we see there was an initial spike, and then we had another 3 quarters that was in that 12 to 24 month range. At the end of the fiscal year in 2024, right in Q3 of 2024, we saw a spike up. You can see that to the highest level of just over 36 months. And that was because all the visas in the fiscal year had been issued by that point in time. We saw some reduction when the new allotment of visas came in October of 2024. We returned back down to 24 months. And since that time, sort of for the last 12, 15 months, we see that we've kind of drifted up a little bit. We've held steady for the last 2 quarters, pretty steady, not entirely, but so that just kind of walks you through kind of how we have gotten to where we're at today. Is 31 months too long? I think we would all agree that it is too long. But we'll also speak to how it is that you should respond to these processing times and how you can use them to your best advantage, and what can you do today to ensure that you're able to arrive in the US in the shortest possible time. Next slide, please. So we talked a little bit about sort of some of the current events that are happening related to international nurse migration and international clinician migration to the US overall. And we've talked about the visa bulletin and the various changes in processing times. So let's take that information and let's kind of try to make it more specific to your particular circumstances by considering, what does this mean for you, right? The information is interesting, it's good to have, but unless you can relate it to your personal circumstances, it's not going to meet your needs. So I think the first thing that I would like to point out here in terms of what the current circumstances and what the current visa bulletin mean to you is to just comment that legal employment-based immigration to the United States remains wide open. International nurses come to the United States predominantly using the EB-3, the employment-based permanent residency visa program, also known as the green card program or the permanent residency program. And while programs such as the H-1B visa have recently been dramatically curtailed, the EB-3 program that you and virtually all of your colleagues that have entered the US or are in process for entering the US will come in through is the EB-3 program. This is important to note, and it's also important to have the perspective that the EB-3 program, the legal employment-based immigration program, has existed in its current form for almost 30 years. This immigration program is very stable, it's well established, its processes are very well known, and if those processes are followed, you have virtually 100% chance of approval. I say virtually because if you get a large enough group, there's always going to be some possibility that some application is misadjudicated, or perhaps an applicant has made some misrepresentation. But if that petition is properly filed on behalf of a bona fide employer, and you've provided all accurate and truthful information, that petition is going to be approved. So when you hear reports of H-1B visas not being available, that's correct. When you hear in the media reports about various enforcement-related actions that are taking place in the United States, that is factual, that is going on. But it does not in any way impede or impair or diminish the functionality of the EB-3 visa program, within which we continue to file new petitions each and every day. Secondly, as it relates specifically to the visa bulletin and your question of how long may it take for visa issuance, the truthful answer is that time is unknown, right? Nobody knows exactly how long it's going to take. We can comment on how long it's currently taking today. We saw on the chart 31 months. But that doesn't mean it's going to remain 31 months for the duration of time during which your petition will be in process. As you can see from this chart, visa processing times have gone up, they've gone down, they've remained the same. And it is possible that once your petition is in process, visa processing times may be extended further. They may, in fact, become shorter. Perhaps there will be some regulatory or legislative action to even bring them back to current. I think the bigger question to ask, instead of how long will it take, is the question of what is the process by which I can get to the United States in the shortest possible time. That really is, I think, what is in behind the processing times question when most applicants ask it. What do I need to do to get to the US in the shortest possible time? And the answer to that question remains the same as it has been for many years. And the answer to that question is the shortest way of getting to the US is to start the process today. If you've not yet done so, take and pass the NCLEX exam. If you have passed the NCLEX exam, first of all, congratulations, that's a great accomplishment. And secondly, you would want to turn your attention and your focus to getting connected to a reputable direct hire international recruitment firm, and you would want to start evaluating the various opportunities that they may have for you. It doesn't matter if the priority date is current. It doesn't matter if it's 18 months or 24 months or 30 months. All visa applications are processed in the order in which they are received, which very simply means that an application received on a Monday, all things being equal, is going to complete the process ahead of a petition that's filed on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So simply stated, the sooner you start the process of immigration to the United States, the sooner you will achieve your goal and your dream of being able to live and work in the United States. This is obviously a very significant life-changing decision that you are making or have made, that impacts you, that impacts your immediate family, that impacts even your extended family. So at this particular point in time, I share these comments in order to encourage you that, in fact, there is great hope for your eventual success. We're looking forward to the time where the processing times will be somewhat shorter. But the thing to remember is the EB3 process works. The EB3 process is functioning as it should. And there's absolutely no restrictions, no prohibitions, no limitations other than those that have existed over the duration of this program related to annual limits for you to be able to start on your immigration journey to the US. The sooner you begin, the sooner you will have a visa in hand. Next slide, please. So the question then is, where are you on your immigration journey? If you are at a place where you're just thinking about starting a new application, the comments that I have just shared regarding how you can get to the US in the shortest possible time are probably most applicable to you. If you're thinking about starting a new application, today is the day. Do it soon. The sooner you begin, the sooner you will complete the process. I sometimes get the question from applicants who are thinking about starting their immigration journey. Sometimes they will ask me, should I wait until processing times become shorter? And the answer to that question is absolutely not, for the reasons that I've shared just a few moments ago. So if you're at that stage where you're just thinking about starting a new application, priority number one, take and pass the NCLEX exam. So we'll call that priority 1A. Priority 1B would be to ensure that you are continuing to gain bedside clinical experience. And then once those things are in place, then to evaluate the opportunities that a direct hire international recruitment firm is able to provide to you. If you find yourself in a position where you currently have a pending application in process, be assured that your visa application processing continues to move forward. We've recently done separate webinars on the topic of visa issuance pause and visa ban from some countries. And we'll share with you a link to that presentation that was done just within the last few days, where you can get the most up-to-date information that's available on that topic. But please know that if you have an application in process, that application is going to continue to move forward to the stage of being scheduled for an embassy interview. If you are from a ban or a pause country, there may be currently delay. We don't know how long, maybe slight delay in your eventual visa issuance. But if you're in the majority of countries that aren't on the pause or on the ban list, your application is going to move forward on the regular processing schedule, subject to the annual availability of visas. So if you currently have a pending application, the most important thing that you can be doing today is to ensure that you're in close communication with your case manager, if you're a worldwide health staff applicant, and to make sure that you're currently preparing yourself for whatever the next step in your process may be. If your petition has been filed and it's approved, you will soon receive, or you may have recently received, your NVC fee bill. Do you have your visa screen certificate? Is it active? If not, this needs to be your number one priority. So if you have an application in process, be sure that you're preparing proactively to complete whatever the next step in the process is for your application. If you're not sure where to start or what to do next, I think I've just touched on both of those things. If you're not sure where to start, it all starts with taking and passing the NCLEX exam. It starts with building up your clinical experience through direct bedside experience. And if you do have an existing application, my strong encouragement to you and my direction to you would be to stick with the process, trust the process, it does work, and ensure that you're proactively preparing to take whatever the next step is in your application process. Next slide, please. All right, Patti, I'll turn this one back over to you.
Well, Ron, we've certainly talked about a lot of changes. Healthcare has changed, immigration's changed, and we know that we've changed as well in worldwide health. And we've had 27 years of successful supporting international nurses. And those years have made us very successful, not only with moving nurses, both helping them get to the United States, but to other countries as well. And that will continue as we continue to expand the number of placements that we have. Over the past year, we've had over 4,000 placements in each year. And that will continue to grow and expand as we continue to look forward to our next 27 years at least.
Yeah, thank you, Patti. And I think it's in sharing sort of that timeline and that perspective, right? I think it hopefully provides candidates with additional assurance that, you know, we have been through previous periods of retrogression. We've been through previous periods of uncertainty, and the experience that we've gained, the expertise that we've gained, puts us in the best possible position to continue to support our candidates today. So with that being said, and with the theme of change and looking to the future, I also want to take this opportunity to share with our applicants all over the world that at Worldwide Health Staff, we're in the midst of a leadership transition ourselves. As Patti said, Worldwide Health Staff has been supporting international clinicians for the past 27 years. It's been really the privilege of a lifetime for me to have had the opportunity to found Worldwide Health Staff and to lead a growing team these many years. And in the very near future, I will be retiring. This is a decision that I've made in consultation with many other personal and professional colleagues. And it's a process that's been underway for many months now. And so want to share that information, but also want to take a moment to express my profound gratitude to the many applicants that we've had the privilege of working with over the years, some of whom have not only achieved their dream of living and working in the United States, they've also been able to pursue further professional development and advancement. They've been able to further their education. They've been able to attain increasingly responsible positions up to the level of Director of Nursing and Chief Nursing Officer. So as I've been able to observe all of these great accomplishments, I'm just super grateful for the opportunity of having to be, to have been a small part of all of that. And with that being said, as I said at the outset, I'm so delighted to have Patti join not only on the webinar presentation today, but I'm super excited and very, very pleased to introduce Patti Artley to all of you as the next leader of the Worldwide Health Staff Solutions team. I'm going to ask Patti to take a few minutes and just share a little bit more about her background and her vision for Worldwide Health Staff going forward.
Sure. Thank you, Ron. I know I have huge shoes to fill. But a little bit about me and my background. I have been in nursing for a long time. And I have seen, as I shared, a lot of changes. I have obtained my bachelor's and my master's degree from Penn State University and my doctorate in nursing practice from Old Dominion University in Virginia in the United States. I have my clinical experience primarily in all of the children's hospital arenas, so from the pediatric ICU to the neonatal ICU, and even in maternal child health areas, inpatient and outpatient areas, has been the bulk of my clinical experience and my leadership experience. I've been a chief nurse at healthcare organizations as well as senior leaders in healthcare organizations. Prior to coming to Worldwide Health, I have also been the chief nurse and chief clinical officer of Medical Solutions Group, which is our parent company. And I've had the opportunity to serve in a lot of different health systems, a lot of different opportunities in leadership. And in all of those, I've had the fortune to work with great international nurses, whether it's been the opportunity to hire individuals and give them their start here in the United States, or it was an opportunity to really promote and develop them. My last hospital that I worked with, my associate chief nurse was a nurse who came here from the Philippines and had grown up in our healthcare system and really has grown not only professionally, but personally in the US. And truly, I have to say that in all of my years of healthcare leadership, it has allowed me the opportunity to work with great individuals and be able to open doors and be able to help them grow. And Ron mentioned, it's not just about the job that you come to, but the opportunity to grow professionally. And whether it's in a degree, a different role, an opportunity to advance your certifications, it truly is an opportunity of a lifetime. And so that's what I want to ensure that I can help others in nursing also obtain, as others have opened those doors for me. And on our next slide, we'll talk a little bit about what that vision and what the future is for worldwide health. And when I think about what really motivates me after my, as we said, 35 years, which makes me feel pretty old when I say that, but it truly is that opportunity to really expand the quality of care that we provide. And that for me is so important. It's about giving individuals that we care for the best care that they could possibly imagine. And so it's not just about the clinical care and the great quality of care, but it's about the experience while they're in our care. And truly, I have had the opportunity, as I shared, to work with international nurses, and this gives me the opportunity to place them in many different organizations and help them grow and develop as nurses, as leaders, and as professionals in our field. When I think about what's next for Worldwide Health over these next several years in my tenure, that I really want to think about innovation and how do we enhance the experience of our clinicians as they're on our journey. And when you think about how we open new doors and open pathways, we are going to be investing in technology and truly figuring out how to expand our reach in multiple different ways. And what we're looking at is how do we expand with not only the hospitals that we work with, which would create new jobs and opportunities for our clinicians, but also how do we help you navigate this more seamlessly? How do we make it easier for you as you're in your journey? And that's really that investment in technology, that investment in the portals. And we have nurse advisors that help us there along the way in their journey. Some of them have arrived in their destination that they have sought to seek in the United States. But for many of them, they're just starting their journeys. For many, they're in the middle of their journey. And this is an opportunity for us to learn from these individuals, and so that we can help make this a better opportunity. What you can expect is that ongoing advocacy from us as an organization. Ron talked about all of the different ebbs and flows and the increases in the timeline for visa processing. And then sometimes it has been at an all-time low of under 12 months. But what we will continue to do is work with our advocates in the states and in the national sectors to really make this a better opportunity for all of you. We truly want to make sure that this is something that the experience rivals no other. We have just started our portal for candidates, and we plan over this next year and the year after to expand that portal each and every year, and the client portal, so that it is a seamless process for you. And then last but not least, really thinking about how we make sure that it is the right person at the right place at the right time. And that, for me, is the most important part, because we know that not every hospital is fit for every nurse, so that we want to make sure that we're putting the right person in the right hospital so that your experience is the best when you arrive. And that is a huge focus for all of us, and that's a commitment that you have from everyone who is at Worldwide Health as your trusted partner.
Thank you,
so
Patti.
I think that'll lead us right into our questions and answers. I saw there were a few of them. Is that
Thank you, Patti.
You want to lead us through?
Yes. So the first question we have is about the H-1B lottery. Is there any clarity you could provide? It's coming up on March 1st.
Yeah. So I'll speak to that. So there's several things. I think most of our guests today will be aware that on September 21st of last year, the U.S. government imposed a $100,000 additional application fee for H-1B visa applicants, new H-1B visa applicants. The effect of that new fee, particularly in the healthcare sector, is that it has effectively shut down the H-1B visa program for registered nurses, both from a perspective of cap-exempt employers, as well as those employers that have to go through the lottery process. So here at Worldwide Health Staff Solutions, it is our view that there will be virtually no healthcare applicants, specifically nursing, medical laboratory technologists, et cetera, that will be submitted. Even if an employer was to make the decision to submit an H-1B application for a clinician, it's also important to note that the lottery system itself has been restructured, where a greater emphasis is going to be placed on the offered wage. Bear in mind that the H-1B program is used by employers in all sectors of the U.S. economy, not just in healthcare. And the restructuring of the H-1B program makes it even more challenging for healthcare clinicians, specifically nurses, med lab techs, to be selected in the lottery, as a higher probability of being selected is being assigned to the positions that offer the very highest wages. And while nursing wages are certainly very good in the United States and superior to most other countries around the world, bear in mind that H-1B applications can also be filed for physicians, for computer scientists, for AI architects, for other occupations that generally pay higher for nurses. So that's a bit of a long answer to the simple answer, which is no. We don't believe there will be any nurses or med lab techs processed, submitted to the lottery this year, simply because U.S. employers are unwilling to pay that additional $100,000 fee. Personally, myself, I'm not aware of a single exception. If there is one, it would be a small handful, but H-1B, for all intents and purposes, is currently closed.
And Ron, can you tell us the difference between EB3 and H-1B?
Yeah, sure. Happy to do that. The difference is profound, starting with the fact that EB3 is a permanent residency visa. Permanent residency meaning that you and your immediate family members, as defined by your spouse, and children up to the age of 21, unmarried children up to the age of 21, can obtain their green cards and their permanent residency at the same time as you do. So you and your immediate family arrive in the United States as permanent residents on the day that you first arrive. That process is complete. For individuals arriving on H-1B, that is a non-immigrant temporary visa. If an H-1B visa is granted, it can be extended to a maximum of 6 years. It may be possible to adjust that from an H-1B status to a permanent status during that 6 years. But that's, that there's some nuance and some complexity around that. So the primary difference is EB3, permanent resident, H-1B, non-immigrant temporary resident, maximum validity 6 years. It also brings limitations in terms of spouses being able to work, where with EB3, a dependent spouse, is able to pursue any form of employment with any employer without any further authorization being required.
Okay. And this person lives in Canada and was educated in Canada, but was born in Jamaica. Will this affect their EB3?
The answer is it depends. So educated in Canada, born in Jamaica. The question that determines the answer to this question is whether or not they are a Canadian citizen. If they are a Canadian citizen, it will not impact their application, their TN visa application. Jamaica currently is on the visa pause list, so it would impact them if they were attempting to convert from TN to EB3. But just know that that pause list is going to be reviewed on a regular basis. So it'll be important to see which countries may come off that list, which countries may get added. But that individual should have no issue in obtaining a TN visa. And the further positive consideration is TN visas can be renewed indefinitely. They're generally issued for durations of 1, 2, or 3 years, and they can be renewed indefinitely without any restriction or limit on the number of renewals or the total duration of years that you can be in the U.S. on a TN visa.
Okay, great. Next question is, can you explain more about the Dignity Act?
Yeah, so the Dignity Act has been around for a long time. I think, simply stated, it does not have a realistic opportunity at being enacted into law. It's one of several pieces of legislation that's currently pending or has been recently introduced that attempts to either shorten processing times, make additional visas available, give specific special consideration to nurses and physicians. But of those pieces of legislation, I would not be optimistic at all that we're going to see passage of the Dignity Act in the current session of Congress.
Okay. And this person is asking if there's a possibility that we can capture previous priority dates.
Yeah, so not only is there a possibility, it's a regular practice. So a priority date can be recaptured if the individual has an approved I-140 petition where that petition has been approved for at least 6 months. So if you have an approved I-140 petition, and for reasons, a variety of reasons, perhaps your sponsoring employer is no longer going to proceed with your application, you can use that existing priority date to keep your place in the processing line when a new employer files a new petition for you. It's something we do every day at Worldwide Health Staff.
Okay. And do you expect any other changes to the U.S. immigration process?
Yeah, that is a big question. Patti, I don't know if you want to chime in on this. We're cautiously optimistic that we may see some positive changes. I use the word very intentionally cautiously because nobody knows for sure. But I think there's a couple of reasons for this cautious optimism. I think the fact of the nursing shortage and the impact of the nursing shortage is more well known and better understood by the general public in America than ever before. I think that's one consideration. And that awareness obviously raises the profile of the issue with our elected officials. Secondly, to the extent that we have this current visa pause for a number of countries, we will see, but there is some thought and some hope that if that visa pause persists for any period of time, that we'll see applicants from countries not on the pause list, in fact, be able to move through the process more quickly. So those are a couple of changes that we're keeping an eye on.
I also think, Ron, I would add that we have bipartisan support. We know that for no uncertain terms that we're in a significant deficit from a healthcare provider perspective for all those reasons that we just talked about. And so when we talk to individuals in the federal and the state government, they're all in favor that things have to change. So I do believe that we're going to see increases, and whether it's because of the pause, we're going to see individuals that are not in that pause area move forward, as Ron just described, or if you are looking to go to a rural facility or a rural area, that would have precedence, because that is definitely a place that with some of the acts with Medicaid, that is definitely been impacted. So we do believe there will be changes, and every one of the legislators that we've spoken to believes there has to be changes.
Great point, Patti. I think, Allie, maybe to round out this question, I'll just add again this comment of one thing that I'm very confident will not change, and that is the continued effective operation of the EB3 visa program. While there may be changes in other areas, and there may be changes, even further changes to H-1B, I'm confident in saying that we do not anticipate any changes at all to the way in which the EB3 program is currently functioning.
Okay, awesome. And then we'll do 2 more questions. Does recapturing of a current priority date require approval of the employer before it can be premium processed, or is it automatically processed as premium by Worldwide?
Yeah. Ultimately, that decision is made by the new sponsoring employer. At Worldwide, we would be advocating to our clients that is something they should do. It's somewhat influenced by how close that person is to being able to arrive, how far along in the process they are. But generally, if that applicant, by refiling a new petition, can be in the US in 6 to 12 months, we would be advocating to our clients that that premium processing is in fact a wise investment for them. But ultimately, that is the client's decision.
And will there be any other changes at Worldwide?
Yeah, great question. So I can certainly speak from my perspective of leading our team for many years. One of the contributing factors to my decision to step away at this time is the fact that I have immense confidence in our team. It's stronger than it's ever been before. Our people, our processes, our technology are all leading in the international recruitment space. So I don't anticipate any other changes in the leadership at Worldwide Health Staff, and I'll turn it over to Patti to add her comments there as well.
Yeah, and as I spoke before, our real focus is to improve the clinician experience, and that's by expanding really our partnerships with new clients, and that would increase the jobs that you will be applying for. It's that investment in technology so that it would expedite and help you have a seamless process. But I think those are the things that you will see from a perspective there. The other thing that I don't think I mentioned was that we have just hired a new educator who will be helping us. She's moving from the Philippines and Ireland. She has been in international roles in leadership as well as in international nursing at the bedside. And she brings with her a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise. And she will help us really prepare every candidate for the best possible and be as best prepared as you can possibly be when you get to your organization. And that's really part of that clinician experience that we're talking about. We want to make sure that we alleviate as much of your anxiety, have you as best prepared so the day that you walk on that hospital floor, you feel that you are not starting from ground zero. Well, you'll have a great orientation, and we're setting the organizations up for success as well. we want to make sure that that's a key focus for us, and we're investing as well in that educator. And she arrived yesterday, so it's a really big excitement for us as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I just want to remind everyone to connect with us on our socials. I'm going to be dropping the links in the chat. If you missed any part of this webinar or want to rewatch a past webinar, such as the travel ban and visa pause, those are going to be on our YouTube channel. So you can check those out. And then you can also apply directly on our website. And then we also have a Refer a Nurse program. So for every nurse that you do refer, you earn $250. That is unlimited, so you can refer as many nurses as you want. Any closing thoughts from both of you?
Well, for myself, Allie, a couple of things. One, I'd like to take a moment and just thank you for your support across these many webinar presentations that we've done together, you and I, over the last couple of years. I greatly appreciate all the work and the commitment and dedication that you've put into making sure that these sessions are as great and as useful and helpful as they can be. So thank you to you. And just to say to our guests again, what a privilege it has been for me to lead this team and to see this team grow and mature. What a privilege it has been for me to see the change that has taken place in a very positive way in the lives of the candidates that we've been able to partner with over these many years. And lastly, to say welcome again to Patti and to share with our guests how pleased I am that Patti is leading our team, and that I have absolute confidence in Patti's ability to take our team to the next level. So even as I step aside, and it is somewhat bittersweet, admittedly, I do so with a great sense of fulfillment and a great sense of excitement and confidence for the future of Worldwide Health Staff Solutions.
And I want to take a moment to really recognize all of the hard work that Ron has accomplished over these 27 years. And when you look at what he's built and the infrastructure that has been built over these 27 years, it's been very impressive. And Ron, not only at Worldwide Health, but in this industry, you are going to be missed. Your knowledge, your skills, all the things that I have learned from you, I am eternally grateful. Thank you for being such a great partner.
All right. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that has joined us today. Please stay connected with us on our socials. That's the best way that you're going to be able to keep up to date on upcoming webinar presentations. Our commitment to you is that we will continue to bring you timely, relevant information on a very broad range of topics that impact you on your journey to the United States, your immigration journey, your professional journey. So please connect with us there. I wish you all not only a great rest of today, I wish you all a great rest of the year, and whatever the future has in store for you, I wish you great success and prosperity in all of your future endeavors.